Zlatan Ibrahimovic had some interesting things to say on soccer here in the USA. He says, I need to see changes to the rules. Make the sport big, like basketball, like the baseball, like the NFL, because soccer is the biggest sport in the world, and I feel here it is strangled because there are too many rules. They are not making it big like it can be. It can be a competition for the other sports. What do you guys think of his comments, guys?
I can only assume that Zlatan is talking about the pay structure here in the US and the rules around that and the transfer system, etc. But as much as I understand and I sympathize with what Zlatan is saying, you have to kind of remember the history of this sport. And it's the failure of the NASL back in the 70s and the early 80s, and why Major League Soccer took a more cautious approach and continues to take a cautious approach. Let's keep in mind as well that as a sport, it does not generate the kind of TV audiences and thus TV revenues that the other sports that he mentions does. So you're asking a lot for a league that is still not standing on its own feet to all of a sudden kind of blow up the transfer and wage structure rules. I think that's flirting with a danger that we saw 20 years ago.
Stevie, what about you? What do you think? Do you think the rules are strangling the football scene here? Is that how you feel?
No.
I feel like it's been booming more.
Not at all, absolutely. Listen, I coached in this league for 10 years, and I can assure you, there was a million of the rules that I could never get my head around either. So if you look at where MLS is today, from when I started, MLS have done a fantastic job. You know, he's thrown in all these other sports. They've all got salary caps. MLS has a salary cap. But I'll tell you what, MLS is smart enough that although they may have a salary cap, they find ways of being able to make a big splash with a Zlatan or a Rooney. So they don't stop teams who want to bring in big-name players and spend a lot of money. They find a way of making that happen. So, no, I don't think the rules strangle them at all. MLS has done a great job.
I think what you've seen over recent years, and can maybe throw the perception off, is teams like Atlanta and their crowds, those are, as much as they're new to the sport, that kind of crowd, that kind of fan base is where most teams are going towards. They aren't there yet. And you can't just kind of throw down rules assuming that everybody right now can be Atlanta. And that's the only thing that's stopping a New England Revolution from being an Atlanta.
Ooh.
If you get rid of all the rules, right, the same thing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Some teams will be able to spend more money than others. All the league has done with the rules is made sure that they're going to reward the teams that want to spend more money. That's what they're doing. What's wrong with that?
The league survives.
And actually, if you look at all the leagues around the world, that's exactly what they do. Teams that spend the most money get the best teams and the best players. So, no any different.